What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. A ceasefire deal potentially right around the corner and hostages set to be released. I'll give you the details here on that. Also, why are oil and gas prices rising or set to rise dramatically? I'll give you the details here on that as well. Also, Biden makes another gift to hundreds of thousands of Americans worth billions of dollars. All this and more in this video. Let's jump right in. Thank you so much for liking this video. We are live right now here on YouTube. Let me know if you can see and hear me. Type yes in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. You can let me know your city, state, or even your country, as we have people tuning in here from all around the globe. All right, take a look here. All right, Hamas expected to release 33 hostages in the first phase of an emerging deal, Israeli officials are saying. Yeah, so here's the details. Yeah, Hamas is expected to release 33 hostages during the first phase of an emerging ceasefire agreement being finalized by negotiators in the Doha. Two Israeli officials say. Israeli officials believe that most of the hostages that will be released are alive. So that means that not all of them will actually be alive. Yeah, so think about that for a second. A senior Israeli official told reporters here today, but the bodies of the deceased hostages will also likely be among those released during the initial 42-day ceasefire if they can make this deal. Hamas and its allies still hold 94 hostages taken from Israel during the attacks from well over a year ago, October 7th, 2023. At least 34 of them are dead, according to the Israeli government. The senior Israeli official said that the parties appear to be on the brink of an agreement and that Israel is prepared to immediately implement the deal once it has been inked. The second phase of the negotiation, which is intended to end the war, would begin on the 16th day of the implementation of the deal. Under the latest proposals, Israel forces would maintain a presence along the Philadelphia Corridor, a narrow strip of land along the Egypt-Gaza border. During the first phase of the agreement, officials said, the presence of Israeli troops along the corridor previously contributed to sinking a potential deal in September during the last round of negotiations. Israel would also maintain a buffer zone inside Gaza along the border with Israel, the official said, without specifying how wide that zone would be, another subject of contention during the negotiations. A Hamas official said that the group wanted the buffer zone to return to the pre-October 7th size of 300 to 500 meters from the borderline, while Israel was requesting 2,000 meters. Wow. So, I mean, we're getting close to a year and a half now for that. And you look at the Russia-Ukraine war going on here, what is it, for years now? Yeah, so let me know your thoughts here in the comments. President Biden's total student loan debt relief passes $183 billion given to Americans after he forgives another 150,000 borrowers. In his final days in office, President Joe Biden announces that his administration would forgive student debt for another 150,000 borrowers. That relief includes nearly 85,000 people who attended schools that, quote, cheated and defrauded their students. 61,000 borrowers with total and permanent disabilities, and another 6,100 public service workers, Biden said in a statement, bringing the total past $183 billion given to all sorts of different Americans that, as you can see, had disabilities, got defrauded, worked in the public sector for a specified amount of time, and were actually supposed to have gotten debt relief, debt forgiveness under an already existing law, and never got it. Never got it, from what I have understand, have reading this stuff for a while. So, crude oil prices jump as the U.S. imposes sweeping sanction against the Russian oil industry. The U.S. Treasury Department is sanctioning Russian oil companies, tankers, officials, and executives. Oil prices jumped on worries that crude supplies would face disruptions. Now remember, the U.S. isn't buying any Russian oil, and most of Europe isn't either. Here's the details on this. Oil prices jumped on Friday and over the weekend as the U.S. announced sweeping sanctions against the Russian oil industry. Brent oil gained $2.84, or over almost 4%, to close at almost $80 per barrel, while U.S. crude oil advanced $2.65, or 3.5%, to settle at $76.57 a barrel. Brent crude broke $80 a barrel for the first time since October earlier in the day, hitting a session high of over $80. The sanctions target Russian oil company Gazprom, Neft, and another Russian company. More than 180 tankers. Remember that a lot of this money funnels money right to Russia and Russian President Vladimir Putin. So, yeah, the sanctioned vessels are mostly oil tankers that are part of Russia's shadow fleet that has dodged existing sanctions on the country's energy exports, according to the Treasury Department. Quote, the United States is taking sweeping sanctions against Russia's key source of revenue for funding its brutal and illegal war against Ukraine, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said in a statement. I'm surprised they didn't already have these sanctions. Outgoing FBI director issues final warning on China's threat to the U.S. as China, Russia, Iran continue to hack the United States on a daily, weekly basis. When will enough be enough? Remember, he is resigning as Trump is coming into office. FBI Director Christopher Wray told 60 Minutes on Sunday evening, with a week to go before his resignation on January 20th, that he believes the Chinese Communist regime is the greatest threat to the United States. Last month, Wray confirmed that he will be stepping down as director of Federal Law Enforcement Agency, while President-elect Donald Trump named former U.S. intelligence official Kash Patel to lead the bureau. Quote, well, the greatest long-term threat facing our country, in my view, as represented by the People's Republic of China, the Chinese government, which I consider to be the defining threat of our generation. Remember, China has like 4 or 5 times the population of the United States, so they are a huge threat in many different ways. And they produce a lot of the stuff that comes into the United States, including electronics. Over the past several years, Wray has repeatedly stressed that the Chinese Communist Party has been working on its ability to take out U.S. infrastructure. He also said the Chinese hacking program is more significant and larger than that of any other nation. China's cyber program is by far and away the world's largest and bigger than that of every major nation combined, and has stolen more of America's personal and corporate data than that of every nation, big or small, combined. Wow. Wray added that Chinese malign actors have been pre-positioned on American civil civilian critical infrastructure in order to, quote, lie in wait on those networks to be in a position to wreak havoc and can inflict real-world harm at a time and place of their choosing. In recent months, U.S. officials have warned about a China-linked hacking group known as Salt Typhoon that has burrowed its way into major U.S. telecommunication companies, prompting federal officials to warn Americans and officials not to use unencrypted messaging platforms. When asked about whether China-linked groups have placed malware inside U.S. critical infrastructure, Wray said that's correct. Things like our water treatment plants, we're talking about transportation system, we're talking about targeting of our energy sector, the electrical grid, natural gas pipelines. We've seen targeting of our telecommunication systems, the FBI director said. And for some people, these groups have collected their content, the actual communications of those people. And in his interview, Wray explained why he is choosing to step down as Trump takes office. I care deeply about the FBI and our mission, and in particular about our people. But the president-elect has made clear that he intended to make a change, and that the law is something he is able to do for any reason or no reason at all. My conclusion was that was the best for the Bureau, and not to try to do this in an orderly way, to not thrust the FBI deeper into the fray. While Trump actually appointed Wray to become the FBI director during his first administration to serve out his 10-year term, he has been highly critical of Wray in recent years. This comes as President Biden, on his way out, orders tougher cybersecurity standards. We will see, because there's so many private companies that get hacked. We will see. We will see what happens. So don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. Click here to see the Fed's warning for millions of Americans. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you